Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. It's slowly getting warmer here during the daytime, but my picture may shake sometimes because it's sometimes quite windy. But then, never mind if it shakes. I hear the winter is still there in Europe. So enjoy your cool. Shall we start? Is there anyone who would like to come in straight away? Please come. Okay, then I'll talk Klaus, whom you all have seen a few times here in the Satsang. He sent me an article about too much meditation. What can happen with too much meditation? And he wanted to then talk to see what I have to say about it. Because they are talking about people who pushing themselves in meditation and somehow get stuck in a certain space, and then they can become depressive or paranoid. Right, such things can happen. It was also mainly in context with people who have been doing longer retreats, like 50 days retreats, and after that they felt a bit lost. And they felt, for example, some people say that I'm not loving anyone. I don't love my family. I don't love my children. Well, it's certainly not an outcome that comes from meditation. I rather think they became aware how little they used to love anyhow. But I mean, there has to be a certain preparation, especially if you want to make a retreat like this. It's not everybody's thing to go for 50 days intense meditation. One can make retreats, intensive retreats, but then after that it's good to balance it out again with activities, with a more balanced program, some meditation and activities and being with people. The main reason why people can get difficulties because of meditation is that even if they are doing things like, they were talking mainly about that line of being aware of the breath, scanning the body, more from the Vipassana direction. But even if one does this kind of thing, one can do that with a lot of tension. Tension, trying desperately to concentrate, tension, wanting to get an experience, wanting to reach somewhere. And if the meditation keeps on being full of tensions, then maybe it starts to have adverse effects. Whatever technique one does, whatever meditation one does, even without technique, it's important to remember to relax. That's something I'm harping on again and again, but it's so important. When you practice your meditation, when you practice your mindfulness, being in the present by way of scanning the body, at the same time relax, relax. And then even if, which is bound to happen, that a lot of stuff may come up that is there in the subconscious, but if, as we keep on meditating, keep reminding ourselves to relax, then it's much less likely that after that one can get bad effects from it. But then people should also feel for themselves, and when they feel it's just getting too much for me right now, the others may continue to meditate like this, but it's getting too much for me, then they have also the right to reduce. They don't have to throw it away completely. And if somebody was in a long retreat, and after that feels a bad effect is slowly manifesting more and more, then by all means cut down your meditation that you are doing after the retreat. Even if you are in full swing of meditating long time, then cut down your meditation to short time, maybe simply 10 minutes, half an hour, and make a point in relaxing. And then also, when you are not meditating, make a point in relaxing. After meditation, lay down for some time and relax some more. And then, if one feels that because of a period of intense meditation, there is a restlessness there, then it is very well also to do some other things like sports, work in the garden, go swimming, jog, or walk in nature, walk in the woods, in the forests. It's so wonderful to connect with trees. They are so beautiful, patient beings. They help people a lot if they connect. But if then, when tensions come and then in the mind one starts to think, oh my God, something bad is going to happen, and fear comes, of course, then it may get worse and worse and worse. But if the early symptoms are there, and then you start to adjust to that situation, I don't think there is any danger in meditation, in practices.
Yeah, I thought about that, Werner, that maybe it was also that there was maybe little guidance there with what, I mean, there's a lot of things that can come up during meditation with thinking that you can get lost in. And if you only do meditation like a mechanical thing, like you only focus on breath, but you get no guidance of what thinking is and how the mind is working, then maybe people get lost on their way. I don't know.
Yes, of course, especially in retreats, it's good that people who are not so used to do these kind of things, that they have somebody there that should guide them and help them when tensions come up or when old stuff comes up and it's a bit much for them, that the teachers should be able to help them to guide through that.
Yeah.
Right. And if the person is really watching, then the signs are there. It's not coming from one moment to another. It's gradually, it comes up and it's getting worse. And if those signs are there, and if there is nobody there to guide them and help them, then they should just not push on in the same way, but reduce and do actions to neutralize that, to counteract that. Like what I said, do some sports, go a bit out, be with people. In the early years when I was with Amma and I meditated, then, and I thought, I'm sitting, nothing is happening, and she is not wanting to help me. Now I have to, I'm just banging open the door with my fist and started to do something very intense 4 times a day, morning, lunchtime, evening, midnight. and very quickly increased. I thought, now I'm doing something very heavy and something has to happen. But within relatively short time, when I sat down and started the practice, instead of a calmness coming, as soon as I started, my mind started to race madly. And it was very clear to me, if I keep on pushing like that, instead of getting anywhere good, I'm just driving myself nuts. So if these signs come up, then it's good to adjust. And then I reduced it to a reasonable amount, and then it was fine again.
It's interesting. I tried now to work on some football players with meditation in the week, and one of these days I tried to do some body scan, but I felt like it was not so fresh. So on the last day, I just dropped everything and dropped every expectations of what I should say during the meditation, and we were mostly just focused on silence. And the strange thing happened that it felt like I already knew what to say, or it just happened during the meditation. So it was like a guiding who came maybe a half second before my action came. It was like a guiding was sent what to say and what should come up. So it was very a strange experience, but very calming and very beautiful, and felt very home, the whole thing.
Yeah, good, great. So you're doing this now with the footballers?
I did three days now in another city, so it was a good experience, and also talk with the one who's coaching the coaches also.
And they responded nicely? Yeah,
they responded very good. The first day the whole team was there, and then the second and third day it was 12 players left. So I think it resonated maybe for half of the team. So that's good, and it was totally volunteered also. So so I think it's a very ecological flow of it.
Nice.
So I will continue work with them now, and I will make some meditations for them and send to them on a file.
And remind them to relax. Relaxing is important.
Yes.
And often this is not so much brought into when people teach meditation. They teach a technique, and then people go and grind their teeth and want to. And of course, there's a certain amount of concentration is necessary, but it's good to learn from the beginning to somehow, as good as one can, combine the two, concentration and relaxation.
It's just possible to do it both, but I think it just comes with that alertness. It's not in opposition to the relaxing. It's just working very good together. You can be relaxed and aware at the same time. So.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Werner.
Yeah, you are welcome. Hariom. Is there anybody else who would like to come? Please come.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Lalita.
Welcome. I have one question.
Yes.
Yeah. How to begin? These days, or since a while, when I get up in the morning, I feel sad and there's no joy. And then when I do some things, it gets better. Mm-hmm. But especially this state after the sleep, there's a lot of fear and sadness. Mm-hmm. And then I remember the times when I was in Tiro 1997. I couldn't wait to get up. To go to the Ganapati temple to sing with the sadhus. There was Arunachala, then Tuli Baba came for a blessing, and I don't know, or any place in Krita, I'm happy to wake up to listen to the ocean. And I don't know, since weeks there is this sadness. And what is your
Right. Well, it's certainly connected with your situation at home.
Not only.
Now, when you wake up and that sadness is there, and basically you expect that you could wake up and have a much better mood, to be joyous, to be happy, then naturally there comes a lot of resistance up in the mind against the fact of your experience, against the fact that you feel sad. And don't fight that sadness, but in a way, okay, accept, now I'm feeling sad. And instead of struggling with it, you relax in that sadness and see what the sadness is really doing to your experience right now. See what is happening in the body with that sadness. See what is happening energetically with that sadness. And then if you are not struggling with the sadness, then suddenly sadness is not more such a terrible experience. If we can accept sadness and relax in sadness, suddenly instead of getting contracted, sadness can become very expansive and beautiful. Don't struggle against sadness. If it's there, let it be there. Observe it, see what it is doing to your experience, and relax with it, in it. And then suddenly it's not a bad thing that you feel sad. And that's also the best way that the emotion again passes. If we accept it, if we watch it, if we relax in it, instead of resisting against the fact that I'm sad and I shouldn't be sad, I should be joyous, I should be so happy. And then you think there and there it was so wonderful, so nice, why I'm sad here. But okay, I'm sad, so what? It's not necessarily the emotion that I would choose, but since it's there, let it be there. It's still an emotion. And sadness not struggled with, accepted and watched and relaxed in it, suddenly turns into something actually very beautiful. And then you don't mind that you are sad. And on top of that, it's also passing easier, quickly.
For me, it's more the moment when you wake up, you know. Normally, beautiful dreams, or I don't know, dreams I'm together with masters or singing or whatever. And then I wake up, okay, and then I don't know, there is in my stomach, in my Hara chakra, there is some fear or sadness. And I really, I don't like to get up. I think, for what? For what?
Yeah.
What to do with that? It's so hopeless though. Every day is gray, every day is nothing.
No,
I don't know.
it's not nothing. Even in your gray days when you're going out. Last time when we talked together, a very short time later, you wrote me, you went after that and walked in nature and walked along the river, and you were so joyous and happy again. So it's not only gray.
Yeah, but that's true, but this is later. I really speak from this time when I get up. After the sleep, there's always the fear and the sadness. Okay, then later when I get out, okay, I see the trees, I see the river, I see whatever, then joy comes up.
Yeah.
But not in this moment when I get up, or when I sit in my house, and when I try to meditate even.
Yeah. Anyhow, when you go to sleep, don't go to sleep with the fear, oh, I hope it's not going to be there in the morning.
No, I don't go. No.
Go to sleep with your mantras or with a song.
Yeah.
And then, but if it's there, the first reaction when it's there is now, oh no, again, oh no.
Yes.
And there you can remember, instead of reacting like this, okay, it's there. So let me not resist against the fact. And then do as, even when you're still in bed, and then do as I said, then accept, even invite, okay, come, sadness, and see how you feel, and observe what it is doing to you at that moment. Not simply the reverberation, but what really your direct, immediate experience is with that sadness, physically. And then, while watching, so already you are in a way stepping out of being a victim of the situation when you observe what's going on, and then it's not more so bad, and then it doesn't give that mood, oh, it's no point in even getting up. Obviously there is a lot of sadness somehow stored in your subconscious, and now it's coming up most probably also in your dreams and when you're sleeping, and then that mood is there when you're waking up. This may be just a period, and after that it changes again, but as long as it's there, the more you resist and it comes in spite of that, the more you will suffer from it. And if you get around of accepting, okay, for the time being, that's how it is. Okay, now it's sadness. And then you will gradually find out that actually sadness is not such a bad thing.
I will try to find out.
It's only when the sadness, when we struggle with the sadness and we somehow feel overcome by sadness, and then it pulls us in that victim role and self-pity, poor me mood, and then it's getting unbearable. But anything that pulls us in that victim role and in that self-pity role, then then it's getting unbearable. But if you accept and watch, it doesn't do that. And then you become aware even sadness can actually be enjoyed. Actually, people do know that. There are all those dramas being played, the big dramas. People go to the cinema or in the theater
Okay.
and watch a drama, and tears are flowing and come out and enjoy feeling that sadness. Because they go already for that, they don't resist at all. But
it's not their drama.
It's right, but it's still the emotion is there, and why should anyone go and in order to feel sad and cry? Because somewhere they can enjoy that emotion, because there is absolutely no resistance. They don't want, they don't feel, I shouldn't feel sad, but they happily let the drama make them feel sad and enjoy it. So, of course, it's a different story when you are sad out of the blue, or when you are sad and waking up in the morning, and then the tendency invariably is there out of habit of blocking, resisting. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. But if you don't do that, then you become aware, okay, sadness is not that much a bad emotion. In the drama of our own life. in the drama of our own life, sadness also is there. And most of the time we resist, and then it's a bad negative emotion and has the tendency to pull us into dark spaces. So don't so much try to work on removing that sadness, but work on accepting when it's there. And then you become aware it's not making you smaller, it's not pulling you down, it's not creating a dark space.
I was just also more observing the difference. I mean, in the evening, it's no problem, or in the night, I feel really happy and it's fine. But this is the point when I wake up.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that they are sad dreams. No, they are colorful, nice dreams or no dreams. But the moment I get up, there is the sadness and the fear, what I don't know what will happen. And this was not before, like 10 years or 20 years before I woke up and wow,
enthusiasm,
right. Still alive, and yeah. And I don't know if these are the times now or whatever. I just observe, and I really didn't find any help or any how to say, what to do with that.
Yeah. Stop fighting with it. See,
okay.
And not observe, not with the idea of observing the difference, then it was so nice and now it's not so nice.
Okay.
Observing what it is doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And relax.
And relax.
And then wait and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay. Wish you well. Wish you good luck with it.
Yes, thank you.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to talk? Please come in. All right. Let me go a little more into this that we just discussed now. It's not only with sadness. What really makes us suffer is that so much of our time we resist against the fact of the experience where we are, but what we are experiencing right now. Of course, there are pleasant circumstances, pleasant situations, joyous situations. There are unpleasant circumstances, unpleasant situations, sad emotions. And then we have our liking and our ideas how things should be. And so often they are not there, and immediately the tendencies there we block. It should be no, no, no. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like that. It should be like this and that and that. And that mental anguish that comes out of it, that is what I'm calling suffering. It's not the bad circumstances. We have to bear with bad circumstances, unpleasant circumstances, but if we don't resist, they don't make us suffer. It can be any place, any circumstance. It's not the circumstances really that make us suffer, but what we are doing with it, our reaction to the circumstances, our reaction to the situation that we find in it. And so much, people are so much always in resistance. Not resisting doesn't mean to be weak. Not resisting doesn't mean to become a fatalist that says, oh, I cannot do anything, or everything is all right as it is. We can still see situations that we don't like and then put our energy into it creatively, beautifully, and maybe it's changing the situation. Maybe, but maybe not. But what is important that we are first, when the situation is there, we don't waste our energy resisting and think it shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't be like this. It's that which drains our life force away and makes everything so much more difficult and creates that mental anguish that is always rebelling against, well, not always, but so much of the time rebelling against the fact of the experience and resisting against the fact that is there is misery that we are creating in the mind, and we can learn not to do that anymore. That doesn't mean we have to now adopt that attitude. Everything is nice, everything is so beautiful, everything is wonderful. No, no, in this world there is a lot of stuff that is not nice. There are many situations that are not beautiful. Let's not create some pink cloud that is covering up the picture of this world. But we can full-heartedly accept that things are the way they are. And wherever we feel there is something I need to try to change, I can put my energy into it. There are so many things that's clear I cannot change, so accept them. There is no point in making my day-to-day life miserable because so many things are not the way I think they should be. Okay, the world is as it is, the circumstances are as they are, the politicians are as they are, the whole story is as it is. But sometimes in my life, in very little things, most of the time, and sometimes in bigger situations, I may feel that spark, that inspiration. Okay, this is calling for me that I'm doing something about it. Maybe the situation can change for the better. But in order to be capable, in order to be powerful, to influence events, to influence situations, we don't we should not waste our energy by resisting against the fact that the situation is as it is. Okay, it's as it is, and here I feel like it's my job, it's my duty, it's my dharma to enter, to do something about it, and hopefully it's changing to the better. And here in this situation, I cannot do anything about it. And accept that also. It's not the situations, not the external situations, it's not the internal, so-called internal situation, our emotions, our psychological reactions, our way of dealing with things. It's not that which creates the suffering, but resisting that things are the way they are. And as we see things in the outside that sometimes we feel it's necessary to change, when we see reactions in our psyche, when we see patterns of which we are not happy, there is nothing wrong with deciding, okay, I'm going to work on it. But not like, oh, it's terrible that is there, and resisting whenever it's coming up and getting miserable because it's still there. There we're just wasting our creative, beautiful energy. Accept the inner circumstances, the external circumstances as they are, as the experience right now, and wherever we feel it's good, it's a good challenge to go for it and to change something. There we can put our effort in it, joyously, creatively. Sometimes it bears fruit visible, sometimes it doesn't. But even when it's not visibly bearing fruit, still an influence is there that is positive, that is creative, if it comes out of a mood like this. Okay, my friends, I'm not intending to go on and on talking now. Is there anybody who would like to come in? Please come.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Helen.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I had just had the information the connection is unstable, but can you hear and see me?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah,
Perfectly.
good.
Yeah, it's kind of continuation about resistance to what is.
Yeah.
What I'm finding is that I've stopped resisting the situation that I'm in.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding is living with someone 24 hours a day who is manic depressive.
Yeah.
And has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
I find that I'm watching or observing within myself states of the mind in mania and the mind in depression.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how that refers to the gunas, the tamas. Is this extreme tamas is depression? Extreme like mania is rajas, extreme.
Right.
If it's not, and the only thing that helps is observation of it. I mean, I just would asking you to talk about rajas, tamas, and sattva really, because I'm at the point where it's almost as if I feel as though I'm feeling almost constantly the mental vibration of manic depression, but there is very, very much an observing of it. But I don't know, I just wondered what your thoughts were on it, just to maybe help me I don't know, observe it more clearly. It's
Right, you're maybe just for people who may not know what you are talking about with the tamas, rajas, and sattva. These are the three expressions for basic moods that can be there. That the tamas means inertia, darkness. Rajas means energy, action, but often out of the way action. It can also be violent action. And sattva means the equilibrium of those two, of equilibrium of the mind, equilibrium in manifestation. Now, you're right that depression is very much connected to tamas. It's not an energetic state, but a state of lack of energy. And there people let go, let themselves slip into it. And it's very easy if the tendency is there to do so. It's like rolling downhill with a cycle. It goes all by itself. If one doesn't put the breakers, then it's just pulling people totally into it. And it's not that there is a bad energy, but more like a lack of energy. I mean, there are negative energies that are influencing people, but depression is more like people somehow wasting their vitality in ways that after that they feel they have no energy, they have no life, and it pulls into a depression. But then somebody who is manic, depressive, so bipolar, they call it now, huh? Then at this moment you are just exuberant. there, the energy is there, but totally out of control, and is being puffed out into the space, and after that suddenly it's slacking again, and boom, the dive comes again. Now, you being close to somebody round the clock who functions like this, of course, it's influencing you. You can feel it in your own body. We are always influencing each other, especially if we are in the same space, energetically. If there are a few people in a room, there is a certain energy that is the combination of the people, and somebody comes in, suddenly, immediately, it shifts, like all the energies connect again. And being with somebody who functions like this all the time, of course, it's influencing, and you have to take care that you can keep the detachment. It's not that you have to somehow try to repair the state where she is in, but that you can keep that detachment and become aware on that same level. Sattva is also possible, the equilibrium. If in a way sattva is more than another guna, it's more the equilibrium of the two. That if everything is balanced out, there is peace. But it's still a guna, and become aware that prior to that, behind that, there is that nucleus in you that is not affected by it. It's good to remind yourself again and again, because on the energetic level, on the emotional level, that influence is there. And it's good to be alert and work on it, to keep on detaching and not slowly get sucked in more and more into that stream. And this is quite a job. I mean, to be around it all the time is quite a job, and not to get overwhelmed by it. Usually, even professionals, they are there for some time in their day, and then they get out and breathe again. So it will, on that level, on the level of the moods, observe and see where you getting too sticky, where it's pulling you too much, and learn to detach consciously, detach. And detaching, actually, people ask me sometimes, but how do you detach? You see what it is doing and you start to relax. That way you are detaching. Instead of getting more and more tense about the situation, you see the influence. Instead of trying to fight it off and protect yourself, you relax. But the more you relax, the more it's just flushing through you without influencing you. But then remind yourself there is that aspect of you that is not effective at all. Whatever gunas are there, whatever energies are there, whatever moods are there, coming from your own mind, coming from the people close to you, coming from, God knows, the whole society, there is something in you that is not affected by it. And connect with that again and again. That will give you the strength to deal, to go on dealing with the situation without getting more and more over layered by it. But it's a job to be in a place like this, in an energy bubble like this, around the clock, 24/7. It's a job. Well, somehow it seems your dharma right now to really work.
Yes.
But I can again assure you, not a drop of the effort you're making, not a drop of your work is in vain. Whether you are aware of it or not, subtly it builds something up, something extremely precious. And in a way, we have come for that into this world. And if you can accept now your situation the way it is, then you really get a lot out of it, even if it's not so fun.
I know, because there are brief moments where the clouds break and just touching who I really am.
Yeah, right. And that gives you again the encouragement and the energy to continue. Huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's brief, it's very brief, but it's enough to understand the whole point
Yeah,
of
right.
yes.
And it's not effective. And once the story is over, it's that which counts. How much you connect with that. I mean, to be in an averse situation, capable to connect with that, is quite a job. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
No, I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
But at the same time, you know, a continuous averse situation helps you also. It pushes you always again and again to be alert, because you are aware, if I'm not, then it sucks me in and then I'm in trouble.
Yeah, yes, that's it. It's like it's observation is what it's like, the power of observation. It's amazing, because I mean, throughout the day, it's you got me again, you got me again, you got me again. It's like my mantra, you've got me again.
Yeah.
No, and it's observation is grace. That's what it feels like. Yeah, yeah.
Nevertheless, if you can arrange sometimes in between and it happens, you can also in between again take a break like you did before. If you feel too much the need that you need sometime a bit distance and sort of power up your batteries.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment we're in total lockdown in the UK.
Again,
We have the highest death rate in Europe. Or,
yeah.
But tonight I'm disobeying lockdown rules, and I'm going and having cocktails with my cousin.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, anyhow, yeah, you don't know how long that lockdown is going on?
No, it's full lockdown. They're thinking now March, sometime in March, but there's like around 1,000 deaths a day. A heavy vaccination program.
Yeah.
It's probably, they're thinking now end of March. So we'll see.
And they hope that with the vaccination, then it will stop.
Well, lockdown. I don't mind taking the vaccination if I can move. They're hoping that they enough people vaccinated that they can actually finish lockdown.
It's the new strain that is worse than before, huh?
Yeah, first there was the UK strain, but now it's the South Africa strain that is now seems to be more virulent than
and they still hope that their vaccination will do something about it.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully.
This new strain. Well, yeah, we'll wait and see. Yeah.
Well, I wish you a lot of courage to continue.
Thank you, Werner. It is exactly what I needed to hear. And I feel it in my heart. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to talk? Please come.
Hi, Werner.
Hello. Hi. Ben, huh? Somehow it's... Now I hear you again. Yes, I didn't hear you in between.
Good. Well, good to see you. It's been a while. I'm here I'm living in a community. And
I'm hardly hearing you.
Oh. Is it better now?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, I hope it works. I'm living in a community in Spain, and I'm introducing the Satsang to everyone.
Sorry, it disappears again. Do you have earphones for your device? Oops, now you're disappearing.
No. Yeah, I tried to turn off the video, so maybe the sound works better.
Yes, actually, I can hear you a bit better. But
okay. Well, I'll try one more time. If not, we can let it go. But I'm here in a community, so I have a group of friends, and someone would like to ask a question.
Yeah. You want to try once more with the video? If it's not working, you turn it off. There, I see you again.
Yes. Hi, Werner. Hello. Friend, my name is...
I hear you now. Good. Yes. Hello.
Hi. So what's preoccupying me at the moment is I have an old friend who's a meditation teacher.
Yeah.
And years ago, we started doing satsangs with him and meditation and some sort of shamanic journeys with a drum. And he built a circle more and more of people who get to the companies like this. And lately, those past few months, when I connect to this circle, I feel uneasy and I feel like it's becoming a sect with a guru. I feel like a lot of people have completely given away their power of decision to him, and that whatever he says is taken as the truth. And I feel very wary of that. I do trust him. He's a great friend and he's a great meditation teacher and he gives a lot. And I'm reaching this spot where it's like, just because somebody has more spiritual practice and access to some sort of wisdom, doesn't mean I should let him take decisions for me or much.
Right.
And I'm having a hard time sometimes, you know, with like the decision to take a job or not, or different places and things like that. We talk about it like friends, and it's becoming blurry for me to feel like what's my direct access to my truth and what's filtered through him.
Right. He is for you. You are in a relation as a friend, and as a teacher, but it's not that you feel as his disciple.
No, like more like a little brother.
Yeah, right. Have you tried to talk to him about it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we talked about it. Everything is honest and on the table. And basically his answer to this is that it's normal that I'm going through doubts like this, and that is just my inner resistance, my ego, and you know, that with time and with keep practice.
The classical. Right. But basically you still like to go in the group and meditate there.
Sometimes I like it, and sometimes this uneasy feeling takes over, and it spoils my experience. I mean,
you have not made a lifelong vow that you have to go there.
No.
Then follow your heart. If you feel it's sort of, you have developed and the situation has developed and somehow they don't work so well together, then maybe it's time that you go different paths. But maybe you can find also a way that you accept, okay, the general mood and development in the group is in a certain way, and you keep still your attitude and you don't worry about it and think, okay, let them go that way. You just go because you feel support in your meditation without connecting. You connect with your friend as a friend, and then you still may get benefited that you go there and sit with them. But if that uneasy feeling is getting too much, then maybe it's also time to accept, okay, thank you very much for the time we had together. It's time that we part our path. I'm not going to tell you do like this or do like that. You have to do that decision by yourself. But listen to your heart, really. Not so much what you think about, what you really deep down feel about it. You can give you some time and again check yourself deep down. What is really my feeling about it, and then follow that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome. You want to say something, Ben?
Sure. It's been a while that I've joined the Satsang. We've moved to a retreat center, which is also a community in northern Spain.
Yeah.
And we're very busy with that. And life is moving, life is changing. Even in our relationship with Marlene, it has been strong until now, but lately it's been just changing a little bit, like you're saying now with David. The energy sometimes feel like it's close, and now it's moving apart a little bit. So yeah, I've gone through some challenges and also some more heavy feelings. But I feel I'm able to connect to that nucleus you're talking about that is left unchanging, and I can rest there
regularly, and I'm grateful for the nature here and the space alone that I have sometimes. Yeah, and really happy to connect with this community.
Are you also under lockdown in Spain?
Yeah, yeah. Some form of lockdown. We're not really allowed to move around too much. Restaurants are open just 2 hours at lunchtime, and
yeah. But it's not a bad place to be locked down in a retreat center, huh?
No. We have a community of 15 people, and we're practicing yoga together and chanting, and it's lovely.
Very nice. Happy. Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. Hariom.
Hariom, Hariom, Hariom. Is there anybody else who would like to come? We still have quite some time. How many people are there? 37. Somebody will have something to say.
Hariom, Werner.
Hello, Maria. Hariom.
Yes, I have a question for you about the journey between realizing something when we notice something and the experience. The example of that comes for me now is some years back, not that long ago, I understood that God takes care, that he's in charge, in charge of the whole scenario, and that it can only be a loving God. That I understood at one level. And then is the journey of one thing is to know that, or like I am energy. Now I'm convinced we are energy. But one thing is to know it in the head, because it feels as if it comes first as a realization, intellectual realization, very deep, but intellectual. And then it feels like it's an emotional journey of embracing. For me, the big one is about trusting God, trusting life. Because if I trust, then I know I'm at my best when I trust. There is no fear and life is wonderful. And when the fears and anxieties and anger and all these things come up is when there is no trust and I feel I am on my own and I need to defend myself. I need to, take care. And I don't feel that connection, that deep connection with the divine. So if you could please talk a bit about that gap, or whatever resonates for you from what I said about going from the knowing to the embodiment in a way of that.
I mean, first you can pick up an idea and think about it and like it more and more. But then what you say as an intellectual realization is already more than intellectual. That sort of really somehow it goes deeper. The intellectual footwork has been done. And then there it hits you. It is not just a theory that seems to be the truth. But then that may be a moment, and then the old habits are there again. And the tendency is often to completely function opposite to whatever you have realized at that moment. And there is no other way but then to remind yourself, hey, come on, look what you're doing. And gradually it's integrated in a way that from the first realization, an experience emerges. It's not simply emotional that it has to be adjusted, but it's your whole basic experience will start to emerge. And that experience keeps on unfolding and unfolding. Whether this is a long gap or a short gap, you cannot say. It's happening to everybody different, with different subjects, but the more essential that your realization is, the more also after that it may need some time, and again reminder and reminder and reminder that it's more and more a spontaneous natural integration of your daily life, of your experience, of your moment-to-moment existence. And sometimes it may take years, and sometimes it certain things go very quickly. But even if the adjusting process is a not so fast one, then we can just patiently go about it and be as joyous in it as we can. And then the journey is not being looked at as some heavy burden, some heavy yoke that we are carrying. Then basically wherever we are, we still can go about it happily. Essentially, anyhow, you are always what you are. And you said now you know that you are energy. And you are even prior to energy. Energy and consciousness and love are the three aspects of that first expression. It's the base of the creation. It's that which is first, and out of that the whole rest is emerging. And you can focus more on consciousness or more on energy or more on love. When you go in one way up to the base, then the others are simply also there. Then you are energy, you are consciousness, you are love. But even that is already an expression of something that absolutely cannot, nothing can be said about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can do the job of becoming aware, of being energy, of being consciousness, of being love, and then leave that more and more and more. Leave up to that standard. Bring the attention when we are again totally caught up in our mental stuff, in our difficulties and all my me, and the others, and the conflict that comes with it, that when the awareness comes, there I'm going again, there learn consequently to turn 180 degrees and bring it back to the source, to that which you may in between experience in its purity. There is hardly anybody who has this kind of experience and then it just stays. For nearly everybody, we have this kind of experiences of that pure consciousness, of that pure energy, of that pure love, without a question. But then, boop, there we go again. and the work continues. But then that inspiration, that knowledge, that memory is there, but actually there is something far deeper than our usual yang that's going on in the mind. And there is no other way but to just continuously, categorically, consequently, whenever we catch ourselves how much we are restrained at that moment, we just turn back as good as we can and relax in it. It's not a heavy burden, a heavy job that we have, but we can go about it quite joyously, playfully, and then it's not seen as a bad thing. Then, okay, got me again. I'm completely out, so what? Here I coming back. I'm coming home and relax. But if we go on like this, then there may come the moment where it just goes so deep you simply don't lose the touch anymore. And from there, you cannot really do anything more, but just be aware, aha, this is heaven compared to
Yeah.
whatever has been before, and just be open to that which is prior to that. Nothing, no effort can be done. Just it's good enough to be open for that immensity, for that divinity, for that essential existence. Whatever words we are using, it's not appropriate. Is there anything more you want to add to that?
Just big thank you, Werner. Big one.
Right.
For all the beautiful wisdom answers and your experience and everybody's questions as well. Very grateful for the questions. And yes, to say as well that I am breathing better. I am breathing much better now.
Oh.
In the last 2 weeks, I've noticed a big difference. 2 weeks ago, when I was noticing the immense pressure that I was putting in my body by holding the breath, I had a week where I could feel it very strongly. And this week there's been a lot of development. So far less tension in the body, and very grateful for your guidance.
Good, great, wonderful. And you are in London?
In London, yes.
So you are also under full lockdown there?
We are. But I am in a bubble. I feel I am in a, trying to keep us positive and I work from home, and I really feel this is a precious time also for introspection and meditation, and I'm trying to take full advantage of it. So
yeah.
Very
good. Continue like this. Hariom.
Hariom.
Anybody else? Please come in.
Werner?
Hello?
My name is Jeremy. Thank you very much.
Hello, Jeremy. Jeremy,
yeah.
Jeremy.
I'd like to ask you about finding one's Dharma. I feel at the beginning of my journey for the last 10 years, I've been searching, and I'm wondering what level of activity needs to go into it, and how much surrender, and everything.
Are you also with the same teacher like your friend?
No.
So you are basically by yourself, on your own. Yes. And you try to find your way. Your way is coming home to yourself. Of course, then we can have our doubts. What should we do in the world? Should we more doing this? Should we more do that? And sometimes there may be the fear, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. But usually, most of the time, it is not so very important what we are doing. It's much more important how we are doing it. Whatever you are doing, when you are doing that, you are not forgetting to connect with the essence, with the source. Then that is your dharma. Some people are very active, and it's not natural for them to be very active. Some people are very contemplative. It's natural for them not to be very active and to be a lot in meditation. Most of the time, for most of the people, the most fruitful situation is that we have a bit of balanced situation. That we have every day some time where we can withdraw and put our undivided attention to be consciously here, now, alive in one way or another. and then go out, be with people, do our activities, and try to bring that attitude as good as we can in our activities. If you have consciously and maybe subconsciously the desires how you want to shape your life, then there's nothing wrong that you install your life the way you like it. Simply do it in such a way that the external situation is not pulling your attention completely away from being self-aware. But it's nothing wrong that you have some ideas what you would like to do, and then there's always a way that we can do that in spite of our spirituality, that it's not either being spiritual or I do that. And then you find your way of doing what you feel it needs to be done or I want to do. And then in a way, one step gives the other, and don't you wreck your brain too much about what you should do in the future. But if there are ideas that you had, that you thought I would like to do that, and you look into yourself and you see whether they are still real or whether they have passed. And then on the other hand, you may think, but this is maybe not spiritual enough to do what I would like to do there. Then don't get handicapped with this kind of feelings, but take it as a challenge that you go that way, that somehow comes natural for you, and in spite of that, keep up your spiritual awareness, because we can grow spiritually in no matter what damn situation we are in. But it helps, no matter what you are doing, that you keep up every day some time where you're just stepping out. Every day some time where you're not busy, where you can just be. And then whether you are doing that with a technique or without technique, it doesn't matter. Just the time where you can put your undivided attention in being here now, consciously, consciously alive, consciously here now. And then live your life as it comes naturally, spontaneously. And don't lose that touch. And then you are doing your dharma.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Hari Om. We have some more time. Is there anybody else who would like to come in? I hope the dog noise is not disturbing too much. He's quite a distance away, and the way he is barking frantically, I think he's after a snake. That's when a snake comes in the compound and he becomes aware, then he's getting very upset and gives them a hard time until they leave again. But let it. I'm not going to catch him now. So hope, oh, there, it's calming down. Is there anybody else who would like? We have some more time we can use.
Well, we have another one from here.
Hello.
Just keep coming out of different corners.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for your wisdom so far. I would like to ask a question. I had a really bad concussion 2 years ago, and in a
concussion.
Way, yeah, like I hit my head really hard.
Yeah.
And in a way it was good. I mean, I was living a very unsustainable lifestyle, so it was a big knock in the head to kind of sit still and be with myself. And resisted that for a whole year, which felt like fighting against the universe. It was very, probably like you talked about, right, like earlier about resisting change, how like a lot of suffering comes from just resistance. So I did that for a whole year. And then now in the second year, I feel like I finally come into some state of acceptance around it, and slowly I can see a new self emerging through that.
Yeah.
I guess my question is around, one is sort of the external. I feel like sometimes there's still old expectations of who I was from the outside in my community and my family, and sort of how to deal with that. Because I find that sometimes then makes me question my own self that is emerging through that. So sort of finding that trust that whatever is happening is for the better and is good, and how to not let external people influence that too much.
Right. Of course, when we live with other people, somehow some adjustment is necessary. As long as we are living one person on one island, then we can do whatever we like. As soon as there are two persons, there are already compromises to be made. But what is important is that you are okay with what you are doing. That this is the first priority, and not what the others are expecting from you. Of course, in a situation, it may be totally okay to give way to their expectation to some degree, but you have to be okay with it. Because when you work against yourself, then you are in tension and you have no peace. If you do things the way you can really stand for it and say, okay, in this situation, it's perfectly right to give way that much, then you are at peace with yourself. And the more you are at peace with yourself, the more you bring in something very beautiful in your community. But if you try to just live according to the expectations of others, but inside you always think, what the hell am I doing? And you are always in tension with yourself. Then even if you are a very nice person, even if you're very friendly and do things that people want you to do, you bring a lot of tension in the situation. You don't bring anything creative and beautiful in it. It's more important that you are at peace with yourself, that you can go as far as you are right with it, that you are not feeling I'm foolish to do that. And sometimes that means that we do what people want us to do, and sometimes that means that we stand up and say, hey, no, up to here, but not farther. And then if you can do that and you feel this is right for me, then you are relaxed. Then you can, and the more you are relaxed, the more you are a precious member of the community, and the more you are in tension, that the more you bring difficulties into it, even if you behave very nicely. So it's nice if we can behave nice. It's nice if we can behave the way that people like it, but no matter what, you can never do things that everybody is happy with it. And we don't have to be slaves of the expectations that are there in a community, in a family, in a whatever group you are belonging. People are always having expectations, but their expectations come out also out of selfish ideas. And we don't have to be slaves and servants of anybody's self-importance. It's nice to be friendly as good as it goes, but you have to be at ease, at peace with yourself. That is the main thing. If that is firmly there, then sometimes you do what people want, sometimes you don't. And even if you don't, then they may object and make a fuss. But if you keep on being firm with yourself, gradually they will also start to, most of the time, they will start to respect that you go your way, that you do your things your way. So adjustment is good, it's necessary, but at the same time, only as long as you really can be okay with it. Otherwise, no. What matters is that you are at ease, at peace with yourself. The more you are that, the more something very beautiful flows through you and radiates and enriches your experience and enriches the environment, whether people are aware of it or not. Whether people give you a positive feedback or not, and say, whether they say, oh, you are such a good and nice person, or whether they say, what the hell are you always up to? Not the feedback counts, but what you deep down feel. And as long as you let yourself be guided by that, then you are on the right way.
Thank you so much.
What has in the beginning, the sound was not so good. What has the concussion to do with all that?
I'm still healing from it. I have post-concussion syndrome, is what they call it.
Yeah.
So I'm still very fragile, and I can't do what I used to be able to do.
Right. And you have the full right to get fully repaired again.
Yeah, and at the same time, I'm realizing I'm repairing in a way that I'm not going back to the old, is what I am realizing as I'm going through this healing process.
I see. The hit on your head has a bit shaken you out of your old story.
Yes.
Sometimes it's necessary. By the way, I also hit my head yesterday. I was picking up something from the floor and got up swiftly, but unfortunately the corner of the window was at the same place.
I feel your pain.
Sometimes that happens. As long as the body is there, sometimes there is pain. Huh?
Thank you so much for your words of wisdom, particularly on that. Thanks so much about what you said at the end too, about just trusting myself. I think is a big part of that learning journey for me, about trusting myself rather than trusting or placing my trust in other people and placing that back into myself. Right. And that guide me. Being part of my journey right now.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Hariom. So I think I'm stopping for today.